Hey everyone, it's Stephanie back with another foodie profile from Menus for All. And tonight, my guest is Mike out of Florida, and I'm going to let him tell you all about himself. But to give you an idea of who I am a 46-year-old biracial woman. I am in my home office in Memphis today wearing an apricot colored shirt, which both my sons had two different opinions on the color. So, but I know what I bought. And my hair is braided to the back with curls all behind it. And I am wearing gold earrings. And just to give you a little bit about my visual condition, I have optic atrophy and consider myself blind. So now I'm going to put our guest in the hot seat. So Mike, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure. My name's Mike Calvo, and I am a 56-year-old, really good-looking Latino male. I'm kidding. I'm from Miami. I was raised in Miami. I currently live in Orlando. I have five wonderful children. I run an assistive technology company named Pneuma Solutions. We specialize in blindness products and products for enterprise and education. And let me tell you, I got to say, just before we even get started, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, you have no idea how many times your program has saved my life when I don't know what I want to eat and where I am because my business obviously takes me to different places where I have no idea what there is to eat. So thank you.
Well, that is a great introduction. I love the fact that I'm already learning cool things about you because I also have five children. So that's another thing that we share in common, other than our love of Menus for All apps. So,
It's
all right,
because we
let's
don't watch
dive
TV
into.
much.
That's right. That's right.
so,
We're too
so
busy in the app reading descriptions of food items we want to order, right?
or making kids, so it's one of those.
Or there you go. One of those two. There you go. So let's unpack why you said thank you so many times about the Menus for All app. So tell me how you got introduced to Menus for All.
I don't remember where I heard about it. Us blind folks, we have that whole, blindness, telephone thing where we talk to each other and we communicate and it's just wonderful to be a part of this community and to see how we have really embraced social media and embraced the internet. I remember a time where I was sitting in front of a group of investors and we were talking about the disenfranchised blind community, because I mean, how many blind folks did you know growing up? I only knew a couple and I'm blind, and I understand you were blind later. So
Yeah.
as a sighted kid, you probably even met less, So to me, it was like when the internet came along and I realized I could meet all of these amazing people from all over the world because I grew up with no mentors, none. My mentors were like Stevie Wonder, or Ray Charles. And I
Yeah.
I met Stevie a long time later in life. He was a customer of one of my products. I'm like, dude, you were a high bar to follow, man, because everybody wanted me to play keyboards, and I could never play like you do. Now, I did do my time doing music, but never like Stevie. I mean, Stevie's a freaking legend who happens to be blind, But to me, I'm just so excited about us as a community and how the word about apps gets around and
Hmm.
yours came up because like I said before, I'm constantly traveling. If it's not with the fam, it's just by myself and going on business trips or whatever, and don't know what to eat. And I mean, sure, you can always order Uber or something, and though their accessibility and and Lyft or not Lyft, but Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever or
Hmm.
Grubhub, they're kind of hit or miss. But Menus for All really just nails it, and especially if you're walking into a restaurant and it's just you pull out your app and it looks for the restaurants in the area. You find the one you're looking for and or the one you're at, and up comes the menu, and you can literally just sit there with your ear pod in your ear in transparency mode and have a conversation.
Hmm.
Before I got married, when I was on dates, I would, try and figure out what I was going to eat, and now I can sit across from my lovely wife and we can talk about, what do you think, babe? Should we have this? Should we have that? And it just becomes this normal, I hate to use that term, but just standard, just kind of foodie talk. We're not, I'm not
Right.
like, well, can you read that again? Or, I'm not making the individual my screen reader. Or worse of all, I'm not, I don't know if Stephanie, if this has happened to you, but you go into a place and you say, hey, do you have a Braille menu? I'm like, no, no, no. The server will read it to you. I'm like, really? Was that on her job description
Yes.
for, blind people to walk in and she's got to read now and take time from serving other people for the blind guy or gal that walks in here? Really? So
Right.
to me, I mean, I think that your app, it does two things. It gives restaurants the opportunity to be inclusive without
Hmm.
making the huge investment in Braille. And I'm certainly for Braille, but Braille's bulky and restaurants change all the time. And why? You need something dynamic. If you really like Braille, then put a Braille
Hmm.
display on your iPhone, but
There you
or,
go. There you
but
go.
otherwise, it gives the restaurant the opportunity to be inclusive, and it gives us, the community, the sense of equality as well. It gives us an opportunity
Hmm.
to be a part of the conversation, to comment on things.
So before finding the Menus for All app, you kind of touched on it, but what was it like to go into a restaurant and order a meal?
Um, I would find myself going to restaurants that I knew,
Hmm.
because I mean, if you go to a sushi place, a sushi place, a sushi place, a sushi place, usually, different degrees, but usually sushi, or if you go to a steak
Hmm.
place, it's steak or whatever. But I wasn't able to really shop, right? I wasn't able to find out that, oh my goodness, they have this amazing dessert, or wow, there's a great cocktail that they have, or the salad is really interesting. And especially, I mean, I've
Hmm.
been on a fitness and diet kick for the last few years. As you get older, you gotta do these things. And to me, that has truly been able to help, because a lot of menus actually give the calories and things like that. And there are other things that can be used. For example, let's talk about the AI elephant in the room. You can point your phone and use AI at a menu and say, okay, what are all the chicken dishes? And you may or may not hit it. It may or may not work, or it may or may not take 5 or 6 different tries. And by the time you're done, the sighted person with you is, well, let me just read that to you, which, we're
Yeah.
back to square one. So to me, this has truly given me an opportunity to like I said before, to be a part of the conversation. Before that, it was just kind of depending on, hey, what are the salads, or whatever, or what. And when you're in a business meeting or whatever, that's just it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable for you
Hmm.
as the blind person. And if you're in a place of leadership, and you're trying to woo a potential business partner or business client or a customer,
Hmm.
it's just it's an opportunity. Sure, it's an opportunity for them to do something for a nice thing for the blind person and do a good deed for the day. But it really does kind of set the standard of, okay, this person is not that independent. And if there's one thing that I can definitely say about Menus for All, is that it gives me independence, a true
Yeah.
independence.
And even like talking about children, that was one of the things I struggled with at the table. I'm the mom. I'm supposed to be reading them the menu, not my children reading me the menu.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
I remember the first time we were at a family meal with my siblings and their children, and I opened up the Menus for All up, and my son next to me said, "Oh, mom, it's in Menus for All." I said, "I know. I'm already looking at it." And we had this wonderful conversation about the dishes. That was something I had never experienced with my children before, being able to have that discussion about what was on the menu. So that was kind of,
Isn't,
I
isn't
enjoyed
that
that.
amazing?
It gave me
Yeah.
that parent moment. Yeah. So,
Oh no, it's
so
it's it's
you,
it's it's amazing. It's like experiencing your first described video with your kids, where you're
yes,
like, "Oh my goodness, this is just so heartwarming to be able to enjoy this video with them." You know.
yes, yeah. So, so you travel a lot for work. So tell me some of the places that you have used the Menus for All app.
Oh my. Um, don't ask me that. A lot. I really don't remember. I mean, there's
Just throw
I
some
mean,
out there.
okay. So obviously, like the chains, all the
Hmm.
chain restaurants, you've got your Mortons and your steakhouses and this and that. And then, you've got the fast food places, you've got the Starbucks. And those are kind of cool too, because, even at a Starbucks, I mean, how many blind people really know how many crazy combinations you can come up with at Starbucks? you know so there are great opportunities to read. It's when I first got on the internet. um it was really funny because I used to like advertisements. I hate them now like everybody else, but back then it was like, oh my god, I've never been able to enjoy an advertisement before, and now I'm like inundated with them. And it was like all about learning about the world around me. I think it's so cool why us blind folks take pictures and we use AI to describe them, because yeah, we know that I'm in my backyard, with the pool behind me and the lake and stuff, but the AI does such a great job of describing every little thing. And
Hmm.
it's the same thing when you have that window into, just the culinary delights that are available at these places, and you're able to ask questions, and you're able to really, and as a blind person, and I certainly do not embrace the, oh, we are all ambassadors of our community, because that bothers the heck out of me sometimes, because sometimes I just want to be that guy. I don't want to be that blind guy, you know.
Yeah.
But it is a great opportunity for them to say, "Sir, do I need to read you a menu?" No, no, I'm good. I can. And by the way, something that was important, because after COVID, a lot of companies, or I'm sorry, a lot of restaurants started putting like QR codes on the table so you could scan. And first of all, knowing if there's a QR code or not is an interesting thing. Second of all, when you scan that QR code, they're going to give you this PDF file that's like 5 pictures of their regular menu and their pictures. So then you got to worry about, okay, how am I going to OCR this thing, and how am I? And that's where your app just changes that paradigm entirely. It's
Yes.
set up by headings. I can everything is collapsed, so the appetizers and the drinks and all that, and you just tap on, you tap on the big heading, and then the subheadings go under it, and it talks about the price ranges. It's excellent. I mean, I can't say enough. And it's a value. And this
So
is not a
what
paid
has
endorsement.
so that's why I love the foodie profiles, because we're talking to real users of the app, people who from all different walks of life, all different types of visual conditions, and they all have a different story to tell about Menus Raw, and I love it. So what's been your favorite dish that you've ordered? Dessert, dish, side, salad, what? What has been
So
the one thing that you found in the app that you did not know about?
So, like I said before, I'm from Miami and originally. And while I live in Orlando these days, I still go down to Miami because, I mean, Orlando's got nice restaurants, but most of the stuff, since it's such a tourist place, most of the restaurants here are very, very chain-ish, very national, very recognizable. And that makes sense. In Miami, though, we totally have a foodie community, and you've got little bistros and little weird fusion places. Some of the weirdest places that I would have never thought. La Carreta down in Miami, Lila's down in Miami. These are like super Cuban places. You know, all of these very, niche places that you can actually go in and you could write like a steak sandwich, pan con bistec, in the app, and it'll show you the 10 places that have them, right near you, and you can go find them. So in Miami, especially, where restaurants come and go, where there's a lot of neighborhood places, a lot of mom and pop places. I mean, you can have some incredible paella down in Miami. Oh my goodness, seafood down
You're
there.
making me hungry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, hey, listen, I'm on an exercise kick for a reason. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as food goes, um, the other thing that's really cool is I have a place right here near my home in Orlando. I paused because I adjusted my earpiece. I have a place near here in Orlando, near my home in Orlando where I live. It's a sushi place. And, you know, sometimes if you're at a restaurant with a bunch of sighted folks and they're trying to read you this phone book size sushi list, that,
Mm.
and a crazy roll in this restaurant is not the crazy roll in that restaurant over there. And then they've got all these trying to come up with a drama queen roll and a this roll and a that roll. And when you can read the descriptions, or you can read like a poke bowl, a poke bowl, and say, okay, I want the salmon and the spicy salmon, the spicy tuna, and the escolar, with the seaweed and but don't give me the eel sauce, And again, it's one of those things that I don't know about y'all, but I can't remember all that stuff, when they're reading it to me, So it's so handy to be able to just have that available to me, and to be able to just read it off to the server. Um, and also, if you're with somebody who's a little shy about ordering, you can order for them too, and that's just wasn't possible before.
Tell me 5 cities where you've used the Menus for All app other than your hometown since you travel. What are 5 locations you've used?
Miami, Minneapolis, New York, Boston, um, LA, um,
And
somewhere,
the list goes on, doesn't it?
Kansas, somewhere in Kansas. I don't remember where in Kansas, and in Missouri. Um,
There you go.
just a couple. I mean, but it's not that's the thing, is there's so many of them, and it's not, it's a trip, because sometimes we would take road trips, right?
Mhm.
And to promote products. So we'd go and drive, like, from here in Florida, you know, to different places here in Georgia or whatever. And as you're driving down the road, you just open the app. And it's like, oh, we got to find somewhere to eat, dude. And you know, and I've got a whole list. Oh, look, I got this place, and it's only 3 miles away, because you guys, you say how far it is, in the app. So it's really cool. It's great for discovery. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, and I'm looking forward to, as you all increase your international footprint, of hearing about other people's adventures, because there's so much interesting stuff to look at, because you can go look at restaurants from other places, so that's even cooler. You know,
I think that's how I like to spend my time instead of watching TV. I'll just open the app, type in a city, and start to look to see what's there.
there
So
you go,
so
living
if someone
vicariously.
was on the fence about downloading the Menus for All app, or thought, "Oh, I don't need that app, someone can read it to me. I can do this, that." What would you say to them? What would be your advice?
So I'm going to begin that by saying I'm an old blind guy. I've been blind for a long time, and being blind for a long time has made me understand that every time you have someone else do something for you, rightly or wrongly, there is an opinion attached to it. That is an opportunity you miss to demonstrate your independence. And you don't need to be, I'm so independent, I can read my menu. It's just, it's a matter of, yeah, of course. Listen, I could grab onto somebody's arm and have them walk me somewhere. But you know what? I'd rather use my stick or the dog. You know what I'm saying? Because it's independent, because
Mhm.
I don't need buy in. You're going to eat that? Yeah, I'm going to eat that. And what the heck, So it's a matter of personal respect. It's a matter of your own dignity. It's a matter of people not. They're going to ask you the right question. They're not going to ask you, you know. I don't know. I can't even think of. I can't even imagine what is going through the head of a server when I've shown up and said, "Can you read me the menu, please? Because I don't know what it is."
Mhm.
You know, and that's truly one of the things that I mean, obviously the information, right? Information is king or queen, depending on how you look at it. But information is supreme to us. And the more information we have about the world around us, and the more independently we can seek it and consume it, I think it's a testament to what technology can do, to how we can leverage technology to live a fuller, more independent life. I really, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Get off the fence. The water's warm. It's nice in here, and the app is really worth it. And you know what? You're supporting a blind owned and blind run business. There's a
Mhm.
75 to 80% unemployment rate in our community, and I promise I'll get off my soapbox in about 20 seconds. But there is an unemployment rate in our community that is astronomical. We have to go out and literally beg for jobs sometimes. And here you have an entrepreneur that is building a business, you know, and will generate jobs for our community. It will generate opportunities for the owners of this business to live fuller and more independent lives. And it will demonstrate to the world at large that we are a community that serves itself. That yes, we really appreciate, you know, a hand here and a hand there, but we're not we are capable. We are able to do what we are able to do. And don't put my shoes on your feet, because they probably won't fit if you're
Mhm.
sighted. Not because of anything, except for I've been doing this a long time, you know. And if you, blind consumer of this content, are are looking at doing this, you know what? It's a great thing for you, and it's a great thing for the owners of this business. It's a great thing for you, Stephanie. I think what you're doing is astronomical. The fact that you lost your sight as an adult, and you've come back just with a vengeance, and building this app that has changed the lives of just thousands of people. That's amazing to me. That's just so awesome. And I take off my invisible hat to you again, because I think it's an amazing job that you're doing. And thank
Well,
you for
thank
the app.
you. Well, thank you. And coming from you, another source of leadership in the blind and visually impaired community, that means a lot to Helen and myself. And, you know, that's why we do it, because we want to, like you said, to serve ourselves as well as others. So
Uh,
if you are like Mike, in all the way from LA to Miami to Kansas and everywhere in between, you can start your accessible restaurant menu journey by downloading the Menus for All app. Head over to the Apple App Store and start your 2-week trial today, so that you too can see how good independence tastes. And make sure you share your accessible restaurant menu journey with us at Facebook, Instagram, or at menus4all.com. Bon appetit.